Hey everyone, it's Time Spiraled. We are on game 2 here of this league match. Unfortunately, I had a bit of a mic issue in the first one, so this might be a short video, depending on if we have a third. We have Toast up here on Golden Age Ramp, and then we have Trek down here on Fireweaver, which is nice to see back in the format, actually. So for a long time, this card was absolutely everywhere because the card said it cost 2 less if your starting deck contained at least 20 cards more than the minimum deck size. Now it says 40. It's a little less good when you have a 100-card deck versus just having an 80-card deck, but the card itself is absolutely fantastic, letting you pick up any red instant or sorcery card from outside the game and being able to play it until the end of your next turn. So, it's a really cool looking card too. It's from a really cool set called Cirque de Fusari, which is unfortunately not in the format. One of the sets that didn't quite make it in, but made it on the bonus sheet 2 years ago. So it would have been during our Jumpstart set here, as you can see with MSJ. I'm going to give a quick look at the different cards that we have in the hands, and then we'll talk about what's on the board. We have a few lands here. We have our little Pain land, Unrivaled Fireweaver I already showed you. Imperial Siege, if you've caught a few of the matches recently, you'll know this card has been showing up a little bit more in League end of the month here. And we have Null Bit, which deals 3 damage to any target, and you can then discard a card to draw a card. Pretty flexible piece of removal, a little bit like a Fire Prophecy here. Over on the other side, we have Intrepid, a pretty powerful ramp in the sense that it can pick up any land card from your deck, put into your hand, and then eventually it'll become a 4/4 beater. Miss Letitia Wormwood creates Vial tokens, just like the one you see on the board here. And then, of course, you can then sacrifice those Vials or anything else that you have to destroy things. Eventually getting the ability to create an emblem that makes a legendary Black Fairy Angel avatar creature token with flying, which can, definitely clock in for a lot of damage. A Carrier Familiar was played on turn 1, so it's just a 1/1 flyer that makes a Vial. I had mentioned in the match 1 recording, but unfortunately, as I said, the recording was a little scuffed, so Vials are sort of like half a clue. You pay 1, sacrifice it and another permanent to draw a card, and only during your turn. A lot of little interesting things you can do here. And we also have a Crest in the hand, returning a non-land permanent with Investigate. So Toast deck is packing a lot of little artifact token creators. A lot of the cards in the deck will eventually turn those into either the ability to tap for mana of any color or draw cards of any color. And that's thanks to a few cards here with Golden Age, which want you to cast an instant or sorcery, activate a non-mana ability, and attack all in the same turn. And then just like Ascend and the City's Blessing, it lasts for the rest of the game. So the Null Bit here takes care of the bird. This was a very different Bolting the Bird situation, but sometimes you just got to do it. Picking up a Cosmic Sinkhole, very flexible counterspell. You're going to see this a lot in matches. It's one of the format's premium counters. Don't let the XX blue fool you. You can pay it just for 1 mana as a sort of a Mana Tithe Force Spike. And then you have the flexibility then to also counter for if they pay 3, and then counter if they pay 5. So paying 3, playing out this Intrepid. Intrepid went and fetched a Lush Oasis. So by keeping sort of a mostly mono land, you can get to Wanderlust pretty easily as soon as you hit turn 4. And then Intrepid being not only an activated ability, but also an attack for the purpose of Golden Age, might just be what Toast needs to get Golden Age finally online. Imperial Siege coming out here, taking out Murmuring Falls. I'm going to put Toast back a turn. That Lush Oasis, though, is going to come down. Or maybe the Mysterious Cataract. We have flexibility here. Cataract being one of the format's shock fetches, so we have a few different cards than Cannon Magic. Alright, we're seeing Lush Oasis. Enters untapped because you control a basic force or a basic island, but Ingwe is not going to land. That Cosmic Sinkhole is going to say, no, pay the 1, you can't, we're going to put you in the yard. Drawing into a Scorch. This is part of a secret lair by Nyx dictionary entries, so there's a few little interesting things here. I think we have 5 or 6 cards that were in this lair, but if you like this kind of joke type of lair, I definitely recommend you check out the format. We've got quite a few funny layers. I think we're over 1,000 different secret layer arts at this point. So Unrivaled Fireweaver comes out and is going to pick up an Imperial Siege, which is quite interesting here. I absolutely get wanting to keep your opponent off of lands. Okay, there we go. So it's just going to stay here. It can be cast until the next turn. Track here doesn't know that there's a Mysterious Cataract, but yeah. So fetch lands notoriously hard to hit with cards like Imperial Siege, but that will keep toast on 3. But so far, everything that we've been seeing fits into that 3 mana slot. So it does slow down a bit the multiple plays that you can have, but it's unlikely that we're going to see all the lands get removed here. Basics being notoriously hard to hit in this format. There's not many land destruction cards that can do it. We like our basics being quite safe. So paying the 0, swinging in with Intrepid. That's an activated ability. That's the swing. Playing out Miss Letitia Wormwood. So either we're going to see the +2 create a vial, or we're going to see that previous vial get sacrificed. And okay, that's what I figured. All right, +2, making another vial. Relatively easy to keep Letitia's loyalty high, the +2 doing a lot of work here on a 3-drop and already starting at 4. And then we're going to play out the Carrier Familiar, getting our 3rd vial. Ushiyun in hand means that if we're able to land the attack, the instant and sorcery, and the activated ability, all those vials will just be able to start tapping to draw. So over on this side, we drew into Anarchy Storm, which can remove a non-basic land as well, and then a bound. So you can sometimes do Anarchy Storm into an Imperial Siege, but not in the hand. So it could either cast Priest of Tunu from the hand, or Scorch. I'm assuming we're going to see Imperial Siege and then using the Scorch here as the flexible option. It's sorcery speed, so it is a bolt, but you know, you can't throw it at instant speed. Makes a big difference for some plays, but not all of them. Swing in for 2 with Unrivaled Fireweaver. Puts her down to 4. Scourge putting her down to 1. Not quite removing her. That's a lot of points thrown into her, but it does mean that you're much further away from that -9, and you can't use a -3 to take out Unrivaled Fireweaver here. Very hard, as I said, to get rid of. That +2 really puts you up fast. So Mysterious Cataract coming here. Are we paying the life, or are we playing it tapped? Tapped, so we're going to leave it tapped. Going to play 3, going to play out Ushiyun the Curator. Going to create an idol token. I didn't talk about idols yet. They are another type of artifact token that we have here in the format. You pay 1, you sack it, you put a counter on a creature, and again, you activate only as a sorcery. And then +2 here makes our 4th vial. We are attacking with just the Intrepid. All right, keeping Carrier Familiar back just in case. Wants maybe a few more options to protect Letitia Wormwood. Drawing into a Journey's End. Putting a creature Planeswalker on the bottom of its owner's library. Its controller may scry 1. One of White's really good removals here in the format. Between Journey's End, Out of Body Experience, and Event Horizon. So Anarchy Storm managing to hit the tapped fetch land here. The risk of playing it tapped means that you can't crack it, and then the Abound's going to fire off the Journey's End, which puts Ushiyun on the bottom. Unrivaled Fireweaver going to swing at Miss Letitia Wormwood, so now there's a choice. Do you leave it at 3, block with a Carrier Familiar, or do you let Wormwood get stuck back at 1 and then just +2 again and kind of stalemate your Planeswalker for a bit, but not losing it? All right, going with the block. All right, Wormwood going to be able to go back up to 5, or I'm assuming we're going to go back up to 5. I'm assuming we're not just going to throw away just to get rid of a 2/2 here. Really out of stuff at this point. The Priest of Tunu is nice, though, as a 2/1 pro is haste. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, you can shuffle the cards in your hand to your library, then draw that many cards. Not going to do much if you don't have cards in your hand, unfortunately. Alright, playing out Hidden Garden Entrance. Sacrifices for a basic land, puts onto the battlefield, tap, then shuffle. The important part here, though, is if you pay white, blue, black, red, green from your graveyard for its monument cost, you then bring it back as Cosmic Contraption. Here we go. When it enters or leaves the battlefield, you reveal a non-creature card from outside the game and put into your hand. So, lets you wish for anything. Very interesting card. Heck of a side grade on an Evolving Wilds, let me tell you that. Alright, we went up to the 5th one. Again, these vials can still be cracked to get some stuff going. Intrepid gonna now swing in for 5 damage. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think we're missing 1 point of damage here. One, two. Alright, there we go. That's a big clock. And it's hard to remove when it's not a creature, so it's the kind of card that you want a Journey's End in hand or something for when the activation happens. Seek Prophecy, I'm going to go start digging for some interesting things. Power Cell, yeah, okay. Cultivator, probably the right pick here. It makes a tap Power Cell, but it gives all your artifacts the ability to tap for 1 mana of any color, which is, again, going to be quite good in the case of cards like Hidden Garden Entrance or pretty much anything you have in your deck, just ramping up an additional 1, 2, 3, 4 plus. Every time you activate Wormwood, you're going to get another Mana Rock. A lot of stuff to do. Alright, we're going to concede that game here. Really ran out of fuel, unfortunately. The removal was fine, but the non-basic land hate just wasn't doing enough. Toast was just pulling land after land, so... We're on to game 3, so we're at least going to have a second one. Both players are 1-1, so whoever picks up this one is going to take the match. All cards that we've seen on most sides, one we haven't seen here is Vein Drinker's Kabbalist. It's a Menace Lifelink 1/1 that once during each of your turns, if you would gain life, you may create a tapped treasure token instead. It used to not be during your turn. It was just during once each turn, and it was unfortunately very good at getting treasures on your turn, on the opponent's turn, on everyone's turn. It was a little bit of a problem. So we fixed it. Like nice little nerf tap there to make it more in line with what the card was supposed to do, and it still sees play, which is always good. Some players in the format, sometimes when a card gets nerfed, the card just, simply stops seeing play. Mystery of the Crash Craft coming out here, another Secret Lair art version with a little wanted frame. This precedes the Outlaws at Thunder Junction by like absolutely years, but it's nice that, we had some ideas here. Mystery creates a 1/1 red alien creature token, and then once you've cast an instant spell and you've cast a sorcery spell, it'll flip to its backside, which is Epsilon Crash Captain, a 2/2 that whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell creates a 1/1 red alien, and then you can sacrifice them to copy spells. So it actually does a lot of work. For a 1-drop, you get a lot of mileage out of this card. So here's that alien token. A little bit of mistake, though, on Toast's side. Did not crack the fetch land during the end phase, which means that we're only on the 1 mana here rather than the 2. Which is a bit unfortunate. Right, choosing not to play out the other cards. Interesting. Okay, well, we're already into Anarchy Storm. And then Nullbit going to deal 3 damage to the face. So by being a sorcery and an instant, we're already going to be on Epsilon. I believe we're going to see, was that a discard? Yeah, so I think we discarded Priest, and then we drew into Yeah, that's a bit of a rough start here. Not being at the exact number of lands, though. There were things that could have been done last turn with 1 mana. Though if you knew there was a lot of chances of removal, perhaps you didn't want to run things out. I'm going to play 2. I'm going to play Enopraxia's Endeavor. Non-Gorgon creature is going to get -2/-2 until end of turn and remove all counters from it. So Toast is going to take out that Epsilon, not letting it get any more value here. Drawing into Imperial Siege, putting the other player further and further behind, and the fact that it lines up nicely with the Unrivaled Fireweaver costing 2. Means that you could pull an Imperial Siege from the Unrivaled Fireweaver's sideboard and use that version and then keep the one in hand, or maybe look for something a little more imposing. All right, we went with a Conqueror's Psyche, which exiles a creature you control, returns to the battlefield under its owner's control, and you make a token that's a copy of it. Okay, so that's going to let Unrivaled Fireweaver get multiple versions off. You exile it, it enters, you get 2 red instant or sorceries from outside the game. So nice little one up here, especially when you have the, you can afford to pick it up when your opponent hasn't done too much here. Very telegraphed, however, being sorcery speed and doing it the next turn, so you know your opponent is going to go and do that trick. So, not that there's too much protection you can do. I'm going to Seek Prophecy. Top 3, going to go find one of these cards here. Nothing right off the bat that, you know, saves you necessarily, but grabbing the Flooded Depths, knowing that more land hate is easily on the way, wants to make sure that you can at least land another 2-drop, or hopefully eventually get to 3. Cards like Power Cell Cultivator, followed up by Unmarked Vials, Carry Familiar, could make the difference here in this mana situation. Problem is Toast is already at 10, so there's maybe only so much that that can be done. Alright. Flooded Morass. Tapped. Maybe deciding between Vein Drinker and... Alright, Vein Drinker comes out. Alrighty. So, drawing into a Journey's End. I think this turn is just going to be Conquer Psyche. Though I don't know why we're only paying 2 here. Yeah, it should cost 3. Okay, there we go. Exiles it, returns it to the battlefield, creates a token that's a copy of it. They both gain haste. So, let's see what we pick. Again, little issue with League. I mentioned it a few times. I can't exactly go and peek into those players' libraries, I believe. It'll be very, very weird. Picking up a Metal Munch. Very flexible removal. The artifacts is relevant, but I think it'll just be the 1 damage to each of up to 2 targets. And also picking up a Null Bit. Alright. So Null Bit will be played next turn. But this turn we can do Metal Munch to do 1 damage to Cabalist, 1 damage to the face. Then we can swing in for 5. A lot of damage here. Really not much I think Toast can do here at this point. I'm going to have to play down 2 bodies. Familiar would just be the 1. Ushiun. Because you get a single point of damage and you know that Null Bit is going to go face. And of course, the Journey's End in hand means that any creature just would not stick. So there we go. 1-2 for Toast. Very interesting deck. It's nice to see cards like Golden Age you play in Constructed and not just in a Nangjiao Limited. So that was game 3, yes. Let our players know. Alrighty, so thanks again for sticking in. I know we didn't get the first game in, but I hope you've enjoyed a check at these 2 matches. So until next time, enjoy.